James Gunn just gave us another small but exciting update during his appearance on the Happy Sad Confused podcast. And even though the chat was quick, it gave us a clearer sense of what's happening with the Lantern series. Gunn casually mentioned, and then we have, Lanterns coming out, which is great, which might sound like a throwaway comment at first, but knowing Gunn, every tiny detail usually matters. And here's the kicker. Right after talking about Lanterns, he also revealed that the script for Wonder Woman is officially ready. Now, I get this video is all about Lanterns, but I had to mention that part. It's a big deal for fans trying to keep up with what's cooking across the DC universe. With that out of the way, let's focus on what's really happening with Lanterns, because there's quite a bit going on behind the scenes, and fans are starting to piece together how this show could become one of DCU's standout projects. First off, let's talk about Nathan Fillion. He's officially set to play Green Lantern Guy Gardner in not just one, but 3 upcoming DCU projects. One of those is Lanterns, obviously, but he's also appearing in Superman and Peacemaker Season 2. Now, we got our first glimpse of his version of Guy Gardner in the Superman trailer, and even from those brief moments, you can tell they're leaning hard into making his take on the character very comic accurate. From him squaring up to Superman to that hilarious shot of a giant power ring hand flipping the bird, it's clear Fillion's bringing the full attitude fans expect from Gardner. But even though his role in Superman is going to be more contained, things are going to be way more intense in Lanterns. During a red carpet interview with Screen Rant's Ash Crossan at the Superman premiere, Fillion opened up a bit more about the tone of the upcoming series. When she asked him about how Guy Gardner fits into the bigger DCU, Fillion gave a great breakdown. He explained that even though it's the same character, Gardner's personality will come across differently depending on the setting. In Peacemaker, the vibe is lighter and more comedic, while in Lanterns, the stakes are higher and the tone gets way more serious. And then came the part that got everyone's attention. Fillion said he dropped more F-bombs on his first day filming Lanterns than he had in his entire career. When Ash asked whether that was just him behind the scenes or actually in the script, Fillion laughed and clarified it was all in the script. That little detail might not seem like much, but it gives us a major clue about what kind of show Lanterns is shaping up to be. Because dropping that many F-bombs isn't exactly something you expect from a family-friendly superhero series. So it's pretty clear now that Lanterns is going to have a much more mature tone, probably something close to what we saw with Peacemaker or even Creature Commandos. It's looking more and more likely that Lanterns will be rated TV mature, which is the TV version of an R rating. That's a big shift, especially considering Superman is sticking to PG-13 territory. And it kinda makes sense. Even though the central characters of Lanterns are Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, played by Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre, Guy Gardner might still steal the spotlight in certain episodes, especially if they really let him loose with the kind of raw personality he's known for in the comics. He's always been a brash, mouthy, unpredictable part of the Green Lantern Corps, and Fillion's clearly enjoying the chance to go all in. What's interesting is that we're not just seeing another space adventure. Lanterns is being described as a grounded detective mystery that unfolds right here on Earth. According to the show's early synopsis, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are 2 intergalactic space cops who get drawn into a darker murder mystery in the American heartland. That setup sounds a lot more True Detective than your typical cosmic superhero tale. And if that wasn't intriguing enough, Gunn previously hinted that Lanterns will be a core series in the DCU and tie deeply into future storylines. Initially, some fans weren't sure if dark meant gritty storytelling or just a noir-style mood. But David Corenswit, who's playing Superman, may have accidentally given more context when he said he'd love to see his version of Superman pop up in an R-rated project, specifically in something like Lanterns. That comment sparked even more conversation about what tone Lanterns is really going for. Now, combine that with Fillion's latest quote, and it paints a clearer picture. This isn't just dark in an artsy detective sense. It's dark in terms of tone, language, and the way the story is handled. And while F-bombs alone don't automatically make something adult, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 dropped one, and that was still PG-13, When you stack that against everything else we've heard, it's obvious Lanterns is targeting a more mature audience. And honestly, that's a good thing, because the Green Lanterns have been so underutilized in live action. Lanterns is the perfect opportunity to reset the table. A lot of people still associate Green Lantern with that failed 2011 movie, and this new series gives DC a chance to reintroduce the core in a totally fresh way. By keeping it grounded on Earth and focusing on a mystery, it allows audiences to ease into the lore before blasting off into full space opera territory. There's also something really smart about giving it a more adult tone. Think about how well Peacemaker was received. It took a niche character, surrounded him with smart writing, humor, and real emotion, and turned him into a fan favorite. If Lanterns can follow that formula, just with a darker, more serious twist, it could have just as much impact. And let's not forget, the Green Lantern mythos is full of unsettling, horror-leaning cosmic stories that would totally benefit from a more mature angle. We're talking about fear-based entities, ancient evils, corrupted lanterns. It's got everything you need to tell a gripping, high-stakes mystery. The fact that the creative team seems ready to explore that kind of material without watering it down is actually super promising. Plus, if Nathan Fillion's version of Guy Gardner is even half as unfiltered as he's hinting, it'll add a whole new dynamic to the show. He's not the noble hero like Hal, or the grounded, thoughtful type like Jon Stewart. He's a wild card, a loudmouth, and someone who's just barely holding it together most of the time. And that makes for compelling drama, especially when thrown into a high-stakes situation. And even though Lanterns doesn't have an official release date yet, signs point to it arriving sometime around Supergirl's release, which would put it roughly a year out. That gives DC plenty of time to start building hype, dropping trailers, and revealing more about the characters and storyline. And honestly, with all the momentum they've got from Creature Commandos and Superman, the timing feels right. This is DC's chance to do something bold, to break from the traditional superhero mold and give audiences something that feels more grounded, gritty, and adult without losing the cosmic scale and excitement that makes Green Lantern so iconic. And with the early pieces falling into place, Lanterns has the potential to be a huge win for the DCU. At the end of the day, the combination of a murder mystery, a trio of strong Green Lanterns, and a mature tone that doesn't hold back could be exactly what DC needs to make these characters shine. Whether it's Hal, John, or Guy in the spotlight, this series might just deliver the kind of complex, layered storytelling we've been hoping to see from the Lantern Corps for years. So for now, we'll keep an eye out for more updates, but one thing's clear, Lanterns isn't going to play it safe. And for longtime Green Lantern fans, that's probably the best news we could have asked for. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.